Hey everybody, welcome back to Porch Cooking and Reminiscing. I'm Roger, and I sure am glad to have y'all here with us today. So just want to give out a big thank you to everybody, all of our past subscribers, all of our new subscribers. But we hit 30,000 subscribers a day or so ago, and just wanted to thank y'all personally for subscribing to the channel, staying with us. Hopefully, I have improved over the time that since we first started doing the videos. I think I have. So y'all will probably let me know. But again, just wanted to say thank you to each and every one of you. Because without y'all, there wouldn't be a Back Porch Cooking and Reminiscing channel. So again, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Today we're going to be doing a very old school breakfast recipe. We're going to be making cat head biscuits, big and fluffy, just like Grandma used to make. There's no fancy ingredients in this, just self-rising flour, cold lard, and buttermilk, and a little butter here and there. These cat head biscuits, they come out big and fluffy and golden brown on top. And I'm going to show you how to mix them up, keep them light, and make them big and fluffy just like they're supposed to be. And we're going to throw in a little more stuff with it, but I'm not going to tell you about that just yet. All right, y'all. So there's not a whole lot to making these. The biggest thing is what you do to them when you put them in the pan. So what we've got here is we've got 3 cups of our white lily self-rising flour. So in this recipe, I'm going to use the self-rising. All right, and then we've got a half a cup of lard. Now you can use shortening like Crisco, or you can use butter, but the old fashioned way is to use the lard. And then we've got 1 cup of cold buttermilk. Now, the lard I have had in the refrigerator, so it's good and cold. So, what we're going to do first thing is we're going to take our lard and we're going to put it into our flour, which is a little harder to do once it gets good and cold, but we'll get it there. I don't know if y'all have ever had cat head biscuits or not, but they're named cat head biscuits because of how big they are when they come out. And you're going to see just how big they are when that we get started making them and getting them ready to go into the uh, pan. And now something else we're doing right now while I'm talking is we're preheating our oven to 425 degrees. And now I took some butter and I buttered my Lodge cast iron skillet. And so that's what we're going to be cooking these in here today. And so we're letting that butter melt and getting it ready to go. Now, this is a dough cutter if any of y'all don't know what it is. You don't have to use one of these. You can use a fork, you can use your hands, whatever. But since I got one, I'm going to use it. And what we're going to do is we're just going to cut this lard into our flour. Now, that takes just a minute. And if you're doing it with a fork or doing it with your hands, it may take a little longer. Or you may be quicker with it. Who knows? But that's what we're going to do is we're just going to cut this in. Now you will have to occasionally stop and scrape everything off of the cutter because it will get clogged up in the little tines there, and you will have to kind of scrape that out. And then you can go back in and start again. Now, this is a way that your grandma used to make biscuits when she made biscuits, is by doing it exactly like I'm doing it now. But now there's a little bit of a difference in the recipe on these cat head biscuits than there is with what Grandma usually probably made. Now, sometimes Grandma would make the cat head biscuits, but normally she just made a regular biscuit. And when it stops sticking to your um, cutter here, then you know that it's about there. I just threw flour everywhere. All right, see how it's just a little bit sticking on there, which that's fine. We want a little bit of chunkiness in it because that's gonna make our biscuits even better. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a well, and we're going to put our buttermilk into that well. So we're going to start out with a cup of buttermilk, and we're just going to pour that in like that. We may wind up having to have a little more. Who knows? We'll see here in a few minutes. But now we just want to start to mix that around. We want a wet and sticky dough. And so we'll see what that cup of buttermilk does, if we might need a little more. Yeah, I believe we're going to have a little more buttermilk in that because that's not quite as sticky as what we wanted. All right, y'all. So I added probably about another, maybe a quarter cup more buttermilk to my mixture there, because we wanted it. We didn't want it to be dry, and as it was a little dry. So this is good and sticky here. So now we can get to making some biscuits. So you want to get you a little bit of flour on your hands, because if you don't, this is going to stick to you something terribly. But if you'll do a little flour, and now you want to get you a good sized glob of this, and then you just kind of pat them out just a little bit. But you want to leave them big. I mean, that's a heavy biscuit right there, but that's what you want. All right, and then we're going to put that in the pan over here. Like I say again, you're making these big. I'm going to put that one right there. We're probably only going to get about 4 or 5 biscuits out of this, but they're going to be so big you ain't going to need but probably one of them. Okay, and you want to place these biscuits together in your pan, because what you want is for them to rise up and not spread out. So that's what I'm going to try to accomplish here. All right, y'all. So that's got us 4 big old cat head biscuits. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go straight into the oven with those. All right, y'all. So this is what our cat head biscuits look like. They're huge, they're thick, and they're just, they're not padded out perfectly, but that's how they're supposed to be. And I did, once I took them out of the oven, I did put some butter, just took a stick of butter and smeared all around the top of it. You can do that, or you can melt you some butter and just pour butter all over the top of them. So we're going to get one of these on a plate and do something special to it, and we'll be right back and let you see what we're doing. Oh, we've got our big old cat head biscuits, got homemade sausage gravy, got a couple of fried eggs there. This is a breakfast and a half. And as for the gravy, I'll leave you a link in the description that goes to our recipe for our sausage gravy. So all you got to do is just get that link, go to our other YouTube videos, and you'll be able to find where we make this sausage gravy. But y'all, it's time to give this a taste. All right, guys, I've got me some biscuit and gravy here, and I'm ready. Y'all, that's what a good homemade southern biscuit is supposed to taste like. It's fluffy on the inside, it's crunchy on the outside. This will go good with anything you want to put with it. Um, it's awesome. So, y'all need to try these. They are that good. So, remember, make it for your family, share it with your friends, hit that like and subscribe button, click on that bell. Y'all have a great one, and we sure do appreciate y'all being here. And I'm ready to go eat me some gravy and biscuits. Y'all have a good one.